I am not here to spoil the party or be the doom and gloom merchant. I'm here to be real and tell you guys that this is just reality of the situation right now. Michael Olise, forget about him. He isn't coming to Manchester United. He isn't. I know this clip will go a million miles if United actually sign him, but come on, we do not need Michael Olise. Chelsea are in pole position for this player right now. I'm going into details on the clause of that contract and that release clause because of reports on that. Everything else that United need. Branthwaite bid going in. Really? And if we don't get him, delete. Really? No thanks. Good God, more reports coming about Johnny Evans right now and that contract going ahead. We've talked about that already, but more people are actually reporting that now. So we're going to get into that as well. But the main thing is here is like, what have we got and what the expectation levels are. Earlier on today, we talked about Marcus Rashford getting away with it, other players getting away with it. There is going to be a lot of United players that played last season that are still going to be here playing this season. United have got the money, so Jim won't spend it. He isn't stupid. He's a businessman who runs business streamline, and he will make sure that United don't overspend and go over the top or go into even more debts. Well, he has got his chunk of change invested into Manchester United. It's as simple as that. They're facts, everybody. Nothing else is going to happen. It's just going to be real signings made off of what we sell, and we're going to get into all of that tonight. I need you to like the video, subscribe to Forever United TV. If facts are not for you, then you might not want to watch, but you know you're intrigued and you're going to watch anyway. So just get involved and let's get into it. If you are subscribed, you can get in the live chat. So hurl your abuse, say I'm wrong, but honestly, deep down, you know that we're talking sense here right now. Let's get into what's been reported and what's actually happening around Manchester United now, and let's figure it out together. Everybody, hello. What is going on? Why is the weather so crap, honestly? Kaz has put the heating on. Can't believe it. Middle of June. Shocking. Oh my God. Like, what the hell? I've never known anything like it. I have. It's England, isn't it, at the end of the day? God, bring on the Euros. They usually bring good weather when we have a Euros or a World Cup on. Anyway, I put a poll up in the chat. If any of you are watching or catching up later, make sure you get your comments in, as always, and get involved in the chat. In the poll. And give me your thoughts in the chat about the poll anyway. I give 4 options, as always, on the poll, and we've got the confidence level for this transfer window. That's the question. 4 options. So Jim will make it happen, as in, we'll pull off miracles and we'll get these players, and Olise will come to United. Same old crap as before, as in, well, you know what I mean by that. At least 3 players in we need, possibly. Honestly, I feel like giving up. It's the closest poll I've ever had on FUTV so far. Like, there's hardly anything between. Well, there is little gaps, but they're like the exact same gaps going all the way down right now. I think this is going to change all the way through this show tonight, just as we start talking about what's actually being reported anyway. But good God, man, what is actually going on at Manchester United? Okay, let's get into what is actually going on. First of all, let me bring up the stories that are actually circulating Manchester United and what we're dealing with right now. And they are pretty much of what Manchester United are going to be spending this summer. We talked about it earlier on. We talked about the situation United are in, the realism of the situation. And Michael Olise being the number one, first of all. Ben Jacobs has come out. Oh, good old Ben has come out again and said Manchester United are also expected to make an approach for Michael Olise. Now, the reports coming out on Michael Olise are of that the £60 million release clause. Let's not forget, United don't even have that to spend according to the club and what they've released to the media. That is around 50 million. So we're about to blow our whole budget. I know we can sell players and get money in, and that will definitely help Manchester United. And then we can look at real targets once we've sold a few players. So like we said before, really, all of this conversation that we're having tonight about players that are coming in and what Manchester United are planning all comes down to what we sell. And everybody's more invested in people that are leaving Manchester United, I feel now, more than what we've got coming in, or the hope of players coming in. I think that's where we're actually at as United fans. It's like, it's the same old, same old. We've got the manager, he's still in place, so what's happening with the players? Well, the player situation is this. Michael Olise is a player United want. I would love Michael Olise. I'm not saying anything bad about him. I think he's a quality player. And Man United would be a lot better with him in our team. There are reservations with a lot of Manchester United fans through his injury record and everything like that. Yep, injuries, hamstrings. It's a worry at a young age that he's had so many. And the fact that he's only played a handful of games. Raphael Varane's played more games than in this season. Definitely gets you thinking, at that age, that is a bit of a concern. But when he's on it, he's on it. He's got more goal output than Marcus Rashford this season, nearly doubled it. In fact, playing half the leading games. But Manchester United's situation is obviously the money that we just discussed. Olise, 60 million. Chelsea are in a better position because they're money to spend, and they can spend it before the 1st of July because I don't know how, but they've always seemed to be able to get massive amount of money for their players, and they've always seemed to get around financial fair play easy enough as well. Like, it doesn't seem to touch them. It's a bit like the City factor with Chelsea. They just do what they want. So, yeah, they're going to be in a better position than United simply because we really can't spend until the 1st of July. But also on that, there is a stipulation and a clause in it. It's not straightforward, apparently. Olise's clause, the 60 million that is, the release clause, can only come from a Premier League, Champions League qualified football club. Now, that is very, very clever from Crystal Palace. In one way, it is keeping Olise last season and making sure that that sort of gentleman's agreement that they have for one more year. Pretty much like Šeško has done with RB Leipzig. Give us one more year. Ronaldo did it with United. Haaland did it with Dortmund. Olise's done it with Crystal Palace. But what Crystal Palace have done is been very, very clever. Good business from them, if you're asking me, because not only have they put that clause in, and I think he's definitely worth 60 million, and they're not being done there. I think that is definite value. And he's played to that value towards the end of the season. It looks great business from them because of the way he's finished the season off. But also, they've guaranteed that people will pay that because it has to come from a Champions League club. And obviously, as we know, the Champions League was completely rejigged. And it was announced early last season. So Palace would have known that a Champions League club will be earning more money this season and can more than afford Michael Olise. So there is no hiding for any bidder that comes in. Chelsea, on the other hand, are nowhere near the Champions League, so that kind of counters that. And I don't feel like Chelsea will be in the reckoning for that 60 million. And we know what Chelsea like. Chelsea are full on, we'll pay over the top odds, we'll just get that player in. We'll bid more than anybody. That's their whole Todd Bowley method. How they get away with it, God only bleeding knows. Like, seriously, I had no idea, but that's how they will approach it. So they will probably give more than 60 million just to get Olise. When you're up against Chelsea, you're struggling. I mean, you only have to look at Caicedo, Lavia, both going to Liverpool, Champions League football. No and no, because Chelsea offered more. This is what these younger players are looking at right now. And Olise will look at this contract. It will be lucrative and long at Chelsea, and that might appeal to him. If he wants to play Conference League, good for him. He may think they're going forward. But Chelsea will throw money at the situation that United haven't got. And that's the problem we've got with all of this. I'm going to get some of your comments quickly on that one. Just to see where you're actually at. We have got a super chat in straight out of the box, and that has come from Lee Mack. Lee, you legend, thank you very much, buddy. To be honest, Adam, I have no issues with selling players to fund for transfers. I think outgoings this summer are probably more important. 100% guaranteed, liking that and agreeing with that, Lee. It's exactly what I'm bothered about. I couldn't give a shit, honestly, about what players are coming in right now. Recruit them. Make sure they're the right man. Structure the deals. Pay the right amount of money. Don't get ripped off. All of that, yeah, that's really important. And I'm not dismaying. I'm not saying that that's not there and we don't need that. What I'm saying is, honestly, I'm sick of bringing players in on top of players, on top of players, on top of players. Let's clear the decks. Let's make sure we make room for these players so we can offer them a contract and some playing time. Like, for reasons why we missed out on Jude Bellingham. Why we probably didn't get Haaland. Why we were saying to these players that these old school players that have been at Man United for years, and the problems that we were talking about this morning, the issue players at Manchester United, we have to look after them. So you have to come second to them. Yeah, you have to wait your turn, but you will get your chances at United, you will, but you're not going to come in and be first team player. Manchester United cannot get Olise while Marcus Rashford is at the football club. It is pointless. I understand squad depth. I understand that Olise probably will accept sitting on the bench every now and then, and that we need to rest Garnacho at times. But we've got Ten Hag, who doesn't change players, doesn't rest players. Maybe he wants to, but he just doesn't. He's had players there that he could have swapped and changed all season, but he didn't. And they're facts. Like Garnacho, he's not going to drop. He played in 37 games straight this season. He had Ahmad for big chunks of that. He had an option in playing Bruno, although I don't like it, but that was there. He's done it before. He could have played him in the front line. He had Pellistri at the start of the season. He had Antony, the player that he's absolutely bust a gut for, and what the club have actually killed themselves trying to buy. Do you know what I mean? So he's not going to play him. I just don't see the point in bringing Olise in. I think we'll kill him. Personally, I think we'll kill Olise. And you know what? He's probably looking at the situation as well, Michael Olise, and going, you know what, maybe not with United. Look at the amount of players that we've got in front of us. Now, we know that Chelsea are probably going to sell players this summer, like Mudryk in that front line. He's not going to get game time. Olise will come and go, well, I've not got a problem with him. Sterling looks like he's going to be sold on. Chelsea are doing what Manchester United should have done already and be on the way with, and making it clear. Like, Olise will know, and these talks that Chelsea are having with Crystal Palace will be of, look, Sterling's going, Mudryk's probably going. Even if they were still there, you're still going to play ahead of them because you're better. Manchester United don't do that. We'll still play Marcus Rashford because he's Manc born and bred. We'll still play Garnacho because he's from the academy. He rightly deserves his spot in the side, though. I'm not going to say anything about that or against him on that one. But I do think Garnacho needs resting every now and then. Just take him out the side. Take him out the side. Ten Hag doesn't do that. And then you've got Antony, 80 million sat on the bench. Like, the owners are going to be expecting to get something from that. Like, if you want to sell Antony, he has to play. And he's not going to play because he's crap and he can't get in the team. Then you've got Ahmad, who's been more patient than any player I have known at Manchester United in trying to get his time in the first team. And he's sat on the sidelines wondering, why are we bringing Wengers in when I've just scored that goal against Liverpool? I've come on and changed games and done everything that the manager has asked. And you know what? It's right now. It's like, would you rather, and this is an honest question, I want to keep the poll running, so I don't want to change the poll. So I'm going to ask a question, guys, on this one. Would you rather give Ahmad his due and his chance in the side and not buy Olise and save that money and go and invest it into a defender, a midfielder, or an actual number 9 striker, or maybe even a left back? Or would you just bring Olise in because he's better? This is what Manchester United used to do. Everything I'm seeing from Ineos is changing every single script that was in place at Manchester United under the old regime. I just don't see United going for Olise. It's a stupid signing right now with what we've got. It is. I'm not saying Olise is crap and it's stupid, we shouldn't buy him. He's fantastic. I'm not even going to argue that with anybody. But what you've got to look at is, look, we've got so many wingers at this football club that can do a job for us alongside the first team, which isn't that bad when everyone's fit, like Ten Hag has been telling us. You know what I mean? I don't mind having the likes of Ahmad on the bench. I don't mind having the likes of... I didn't mind having the likes of Pellistri on the bench as a reserve player. Obviously, he'd want to get more chances than he got, but I wouldn't mind them players like... And then you've got the likes of Marcus Rashford, who will keep on playing. Obviously, at Garnacho, like we've said. We've got plenty of options in the wide areas for Manchester United. I look at it and I go, look, Olise, don't need him. We just don't need him. I would give Ahmad a chance, says Andrew. We can only have squad depth if players don't have game time written into their contracts. Again, Jonathan, this is what I feel Ineos won't do. They're strict. They're looking like... We spoke earlier on about how they're changing Ten Hag's contract up. I mean, that's ludicrous what's going on there with that. Like, there's not a manager on the planet, old school manager, that's going to agree to that. And I think they're trying to push Ten Hag out, personally. That was my angle from before and how I seen it. I think there's a bit of a subplot with Ineos and how they're trying to push Ten Hag, I feel. But... I don't think that Olise is the right man for Manchester United right now. He's the right man, but what's the point? You're just going to have players who are on more money than him, sat on the bench, wasting away. You have to clear the decks first. Unfortunately for United, we've got a big deck, and there's a lot sat on it. And that's just because of the way that Manchester United operated before Ineos came in. So, like, where I've got concerns and worries with Ineos about what's going on, there are also the realistic side of things where I look at it and I go, well, they do actually need time to actually get things in place and get shit sorted, don't they? Because there's just too much to do. Like, we should not even be in the bidding for Olise. It's a nothing story for me now. And the more and more I think about it and talk about it, I just feel like we're just pointless. It's just a pointless a signing. God, get your words out. You've got to see where I'm coming from at least and acknowledge that there is a stupid side to this. And we have to look at it and look where the more important players are needed at Manchester United. How many times are we going to go on about this, honestly? Like, Adam always talks sense, honest man. Thank you, Adrian. Love that. We need to fill that hole in midfield that hasn't been filled since Michael Carrick. Agree. Midfield is more important than Michael Olise in the right wing. Olise, whilst good in an unnecessary luxury when you consider the left-back situation, the lack of depth at centre-back. Gary, well said. Exactly where I'm coming from. Henry, I hear what you're saying, Adam. Ineos won't let him do what he did last season, picking the same players every week. If he does, they will sack him on poor performances. That Ten Hag is being full-on dictated to. Like, he doesn't stand a chance under Ineos for me. He really doesn't. Because they literally want to run the show, don't they? This is what I don't agree with on Ineos' side of things. Like, I'm with them in the money side and getting the book straight. This had to happen sooner or later. There had to be an audit. There had to be a, right, let's stop before we absolutely run ourselves into the ground. Let's stop now. Stop the spending. Stop being stupid. We have to get rid before we move forward. And that's right. Ineos are bang on the money with that. But trying to manipulate, trying to dictate to Ten Hag is never going to work. It's not going to work for Ten Hag. Like, it just feels like they want to run the team. It feels a little bit Todd Bowley-ish right now in terms of coming in, first time at a massive football club, and just trying to do every single job. I think they will learn fast that they cannot do this. And I understand they're bringing in different people at different areas, and we are, what's the name? We're in a position where we wanted to be, like, structure-wise, and how it should be run. But then people need to know their roles. Their roles need to be in their areas, not running the bleeding team. Like, everything that's transfer-wise, recruitment and everything like that, and it gets down to what player Ten Hag needs, or profile of player or position, they pick it, they give Ten Hag a few, they pick him, and then and Ineos deal with all of that. Ashworth, Barada, Wilcox, they get the deal done. And then that's it. That's Ten Hag time. Right there. That's where you draw the line. No more involvement at all. This bollocks about bringing another coach in next to Van der Gaag. And honestly, no. Like, we spoke with Double A earlier on, and he said it. Too many chefs spoil the broth. It's going to get overly complicated at Manchester United very, very quickly. And then who are we going to blame? Who's going to take the blame for it? There's no one to point a finger at because nobody knows who's in bleeding control. That's what's going to happen, and that's a slippery slope for Manchester United right now. And we cannot afford to be making this more complicated than what it already is. It's simple. Ten Hag knows who needs to go. It's the one benefit of having Ten Hag in, I feel. He knows the players inside and out in that current squad right now, and he knows who isn't the right man. I mean, there's a bad bit to it, where he's not giving other players a chance like we've just spoken about, but the bigger picture is, like, he knows who needs to go. I'm saying that, though, when I'm talking about that, it takes me back to the Rashford conversation earlier, and I think Ten Hag is just going to back Rashford like he has continuously, and he's going to end up staying, and he's going to end up taking a place away from someone who could probably do a better job because he's Marcus Rashford, Manc born and bred. I've still not recovered, and some people may say you've got to let it go, Adam. I've still not recovered from Marcus Rashford's body language, his attitude, and everything that he was last season. I cannot let that go. Cannot. But yeah, that's the situation I feel we're in with Olise. Ineos, I don't think are going to go near it. The reasons that we all see and that are being reported, 50 million to spend, is more than that. There's more reports coming in now that obviously, like I just said, it's got to be from a Champions League club to get that bid. So if anyone else wants him, they're going to have to bid bleeding more. Thomas with a super chat. Thanks, Thomas. No manager stands a chance. Adam, how do you get rid of players no one wants? Who's going to pay the wages? Can't blame Ten Hag on that one. No, can't blame Ten Hag on Sancho. Can't blame Ten Hag on Mason Greenwood. Can blame Ten Hag on Marcus Rashford, because someone will buy Marcus Rashford. I can blame Ten Hag on all the crap that he's brought in and recommended players. I'm not saying Mason Mount is crap, but Mason Mount is an exact example of what Michael Olise is. And a stupid decision in bringing him in right now. The player is right. The player is quality. He just shouldn't be coming. It's the wrong signing. You should have learned from last season. Well, Marcus Rashford is there. Olise won't play, because I don't think he wants to push Garnacho around. Garnacho's going to play on the right. And you know what? Where are the United fans going to be if Garnacho gets dropped for Olise? Where are we going to be then? And like I said, I understand squad depth, but proof is in the pudding, is in the eating. He said he wanted Mason Mount. He got him in a position that he already had covered by our bleeding captain, Bruno Fernandes. And everyone's thinking, where's Mason Mount going to play? He tried him early doors next to Casemiro, and everybody knows that Mason Mount is not a holding midfielder. But Ten Hag thought he could squeeze him in. It clearly shows that we should have been going for Rice and not Mason Mount. Olise is Mount. Bruno is Rashford. If Olise comes in, you're going to have exactly the same situation as what we did. And in terms of players, like Thomas said in the super chat, who people don't want, I think everyone wants Manchester United's players. It's just if United like the fee. We can sell Sancho. He's got enough quality. He's young enough. Mason Greenwood, we know, young enough, got the quality, had a great season last season for Getafe. We will get rid of Mason Greenwood. It looks pretty much way down the line now. A lot of people are saying it's not that far down the line. When you agree personal terms, like Sporto della Italia has said, then you know that it's pretty much nearly there. So Mason Greenwood, I'm confident that will go. And if we get 40, 50 million, 50 million would be great, because you've got to take 20% of that off for Getafe, which is disastrous. It really is. Poor negotiating from United. But hey, I've given up on hope on what that old regime was and getting anything positive out of it. But yeah, I look at that and I go, we'll sell him, we'll sell Sancho, good, and that will take us over 100 million to spend. And then we can start opening up into the realm of, let's get a centre-back, let's get a centre midfielder, possibly a centre-forward if we sell Casemiro, and then everything else that we can sell. And we're talking the dog shit then, the runt of the lit off. I'm not holding any punches here, am I, today? I'm going for it. Like, actually, it's probably a bit too much, that, actually. I'm not going to say that. I'll take that back completely. I'm sorry and apologise. The Lindelofs, the Wan-Bissakas, players like this, the Ericssons, can you get any money together for these sorts of players? The Palestris of the world. I like Palestri, but he's not going to get a chance at Man United. The Altay Bayindirs, the players that can be sold and bunched together, what can we get for him? 15, 20 million, maybe 30 million at a push for all them players put together. Casemiro's gone. We could probably scrape together, 30, 40 million for him if he goes to Saudi. And then you're looking at maybe bringing in that extra player, the left back. Not a right winger, a left back. If you can get a cheap one like Kirkes from Bournemouth, fair enough, 20 million. Then that's when you start looking at your icing on the cake players. That little bit extra on top, the cherry on top, you could say. That type of player, the luxury player. Right now, we need your dead certs, your players that need to come in positionally that Manchester United are missing. If you don't bring them in first, it's pointless bringing in. It's like trying to build a bleeding Victoria sponge. Without the sponge, what's the point in the icing? And that's what Olise is. You need your stability, your centre-back, your left-back maybe before that, your midfielder, your other centre-forward. You know where I'm going. That's basically it. Cheers for the 100 likes, guys. Keep them comments coming in. I will come to them eventually. I know I'm going on with myself a bit today, but I'm just a little bit miffed off by people getting carried away that I was not getting Olise. Stupid. And I stand by it. Like, the point proven is Mason Mount last season. We didn't need him. And now look at him. He's earning $250,000 a week, sat on the bleeding bench. I know his injuries have been shocking as well, but let's be honest. Would he have played any more? with Bruno Fernandes, the captain. And let's not forget, I'm saying that because of Erik Ten Hag. He does not change the players. And if Ten Hag is being told to change the players by Ineos and he has to change his ways and he's going to be told what to do here, there, bleeding everywhere, what is the fucking point of him still being here? Sorry. Not sorry. Sorry, not sorry. Yes, we have a new member in the house. London Legends. Legend London. Woohoo. There you go. Thank you for donating that membership. And that's gone to Guess. Buzzing with that. Welcome back, Guess. Hope you are fine. Hope you're doing well. Make sure you give London a thank you. You probably already have because I've been yabbing on for ages. Andrew, unfortunately, it will be Ten Hag. They will blame, even if it's not his fault, but it's Ineos should get rid of Rashford if they want to control transfers. Okay, let's get in for a few more of your comments, actually, while we're doing this. I think the Glazers who tell them Rashford stays and plays. It's game over if it is. Garnacho will swap with Rashford. I don't want that to happen. I don't want Rashford there in the first place. For me, he's not the first team player. Rashford should be on the bench and waiting for Garnacho to make a mistake. It'll be the other way round if Olise comes in. And you know what? I feel like Ineos will tell Ten Hag he has to play these players that they are going to be investing into this summer. I think they are going to be telling him who has to play as well. And it's wrong. It's completely wrong. I'm not on Ten Hag's side in this, like everybody knows, but I do feel like he's been thrown under the bus a little bit with this by Ineos. And I just think it's a complete nonsense, a complete and utter nonsense that they would come in, bring their coaches in and tell him how to do his job. Everything that they should be doing in the structure is, and it stops at Carrington. Then Ten Hag takes over, and that's when we start judging Ten Hag properly. Because he's got nothing else to do but coach the team and get the best out of them players. That's where it should be. I've just got a horrible feeling it's not going to be. At least say he's not coming. Like I said, Alan, just deal with it. He shouldn't be coming. He's not coming. We can't afford him. And let's be honest, we haven't got room for him unless we move players on. Then I'm all for it, but I just don't see it happening. Adam, I am the same as you. Every time you bring up Rashford, it makes my blood boil. I say it's got to, hasn't it? Like you just look at him and you go, we don't forget. We don't forget. Unfortunately, Rashford won't be sold this summer. Has Ineos the balls to do it? I don't think they have, Steph. I don't think they have. Not a chance, Stephen. Don't blame Ineos. We haven't signed anyone yet. I'm not blaming Ineos for that. I told you. If you listen, you look at it and you go, Ineos are doing exactly everything right now. They're the ones that have called stop on the stupid spending, and they are drawing a line through it. I just don't like Ineos in the way that they are. It's being reported now. Obviously, it has to be true, and we'll see if it becomes true. But there's too many noises coming out. I don't want them dictating to Ten Hag how to coach this team. It's pointless. I want to see what Ten Hag can do now. If anything, we're going to see what he's made of. Ineos will take care of everything else. Let them do that, but don't get involved in the team. I'm still not believing that bollocks that came about him, Wilcox telling Ten Hag to play Bruno as a false nine. Did anyone see the first half against bleeding Brighton? Did anyone see how open we were against Newcastle? There's no way that Wilcox had involvement in that. Not a chance in hell. Guess says... my membership expired like today and got a new one right away. This community is amazing. Yes, that's what it is all about. The community here is absolutely spot on. Gehan says, Adam, United have a plan we don't know about, I think. That might be why they want Michael Olise. I'm all for surprises, Gehan. I am. Honestly, I do want to be surprised. I don't want to know about anything that's going on. I just want to hear, bang, let's go. United have made a decision, they've been decisive, and it's all part of that master plan like you said there, mate. I hope there is. When in terms of the signings, honestly, I couldn't give a shit until the players are gone, mate. I really do not care. I want to see Ineos are actually being truthful in what they're saying and how much money United have got to spend. I don't want players coming in right now. I want all the players out. I want all of the players out that need to go out. That's the next job. We said it was. You deal with the manager situation. You put that to bed. The next job is getting the shit and the freeloaders out of this football club. That's what's next. Have you thought about this, that Juventus have to sell to buy? Honestly, let them deal with them, mate. Like, honestly, if they want Mason Greenwood, let them deal with it. As long as we get the money and the deal and Mason's gone, we can only think about our own boat, mate, and not worry about theirs. Mount hardly played, so saved Erik Ten Hag a problem of his own creation, says Andrew. Good point. Why Olise not coming? Because we can't afford him, Tom. Can't afford him. And we're way down the pecking order. We don't need him. Like, if we got rid of Palestre, Marcus Rashford, we need to get rid of Hannibal as well, because Ten Hag isn't going to play him. In fact, I would rather keep Palestre and sell Marcus Rashford. That's where I'm at with it. I understand we need squad depth. No, actually, you know what? I said it wrong. I forgot about the man, didn't I? Anthony. Anthony needs to go before we sign anybody. Anthony, Palestre, they have to go. And then you can start looking at Olise for me. There's no point otherwise. I think Palestre is definitely going to go. But Anthony, that's a big problem we've got right there. Stephanie says, United hierarchy could only get Mount for Ten Hag as no one else wanted him. Manager not going to say no to any signings offered to him. To be honest, he told them that he wanted Mason Mount, Stephanie. And we didn't need a goalkeeper at the time. I would have been happy just buying Bayndeh in and giving him a chance, saving money. Even if you offered bleeding David De Gea, like I knew that De Gea needed changing. I was all for it, and everyone knows that. But he wasn't the biggest issue that needed sorting. We should have gone all in on Declan Rice and tried to get Declan Rice. We could have put Mount and Onana together and probably managed to get a deal for Declan Rice. Easily. Less money as well, in terms of wages. I still cannot get my head around it. I cannot, the thinking behind it. Don't forget, get the awful slow Maguire. Yeah, well, do you know what? I'd rather Maguire than bleeding De Ligt right now, to be honest. I just don't see any positive in that De Ligt signing. Going through the news in terms of Manchester United and what's being reported. We touched on De Ligt this morning, actually. But the news from the Mail Sport from Simon Jones is that Manchester United are set to table a bid for Everton defender Jared Branthwaite. If United are unsuccessful in their approaches, they may turn their attentions to Matthias De Ligt as a backup option. God, please, no. No. The Titanic would turn quicker, and that's at the bottom of the bleeding ocean. So, again, it isn't going to solve anything. And the fact that we were talking earlier on about Ten Hag being keen on him. Anyone that Ten Hag's keen on, I don't want to know about. Because I think his eye for talent is poor. And it's where he lets himself down even more. Let Ineos do the recruiting and the players we need. Branthwaite, what are you going to bid? 30 million? 40 million at max? Everton are not going to accept it, are they? I think the only positive we've got with Branthwaite, if we do go for him, is that Real Madrid are probably going to go for Euro, and that's the only other club that I can think have been interested in Branthwaite. There are probably others that we don't know about. I mean, everyone were looking. I think it was Graham who was telling me the other day, City won't need a centre-back. They'll probably go for the left-back. They do need a left-back because they're playing centre-backs at left-back at the moment, so I think they will go for a left-back. So you're taking the big guns out of this. Will Liverpool go for it? No, because it's Everton. Takes another one out of it. Arsenal don't need a centre-back. There's another one gone. I think Newcastle are pretty solid. Chelsea, maybe, if Silva's going. And they're trying to get rid of others. Obviously, they've just took out of a bio as well at centre-back. So I think it opens up for Manchester United, Branthwaite. No one else is in for him. He's in the area. And I think Branthwaite's more realistic than any other player in the Premier League we're looking at right now. I don't want De Ligt. I don't want him. His time is gone. I know he's still young enough to play and everything, but I think Branthwaite's a better prospect and probably a better player at the moment. And that tells you everything. So, yeah, no. That's where I stand with Branthwaite. You guys let me know. And Telegraph as well of saying there is a very, very good chance that Johnny Evans is going to sign this contract and still be at Manchester United. So there is your defensive cover right there, guys. And if you like it or not, it's going to happen. What do you reckon we're going to bid? Here's a game we can play. What's United's opening bids? Henry Long, welcome to the Members Club, gifted by the Honest Tiger. Give me your bids of what you go in with if you're United for Branthwaite. Get them in the chat right now. Start talking to me, people. Please like the video. We're almost at the 150 mark. Keep it up, guys, please. Thank you, everybody. All the contributions already as well. Anyone who does want to become a member, there is a link right at the bottom of the screen. Click on that along with our SofaScore app. Link in the description for that as well. Completely free, guys. Get onto that. Best app for stats and in-game action that you need. Odds, player ratings, everything there. All completely free to your phone. Brilliant, brilliant app with all news for every single club down the whole pyramid. Adam, have you always been... Adam, United have always played their first team to death. Isn't a Ten Hag problem? No, mate, we haven't. It is a Ten Hag problem. We have rotated before. Like, you don't sit Rafael Varane on the bench. You don't sit Amrabat on the bench constantly. You don't do this. Like, there's plenty of players that Ten Hag could have swapped out many a times in smaller games. He just didn't do it. Osimhen off to Arsenal. Have fun with Højlund. To be honest, nothing wrong with Højlund, mate. I think he outscored Jesus last season, did he not, in his first season? So, yeah, thanks. Yeah, I'll take Højlund all day, mate. But cheers for the super chat, Zane. Yeah, good luck in trying to take City down. By the time we come back, Pep would have gone and we'd probably be fighting for a title then, mate. Let's get into some more of your chat on this one. Ineos want credit for wins and blame Ten Hag for the defeats, maybe. I just think that they want to be challenging and winning things. That's all Ineos want to do. But I think on a budget, I don't see it happening. But I am with them. They have to be the ones that draw that line and just sort out these finances. This has to be the season, the pre-season, where that happens. Ahmad, Garnacho, Mount, Anthony, all play or can right wing. No need to put Palestra on that, as Ten Hag won't play him. No, he won't play him. That's another player that he just didn't play. Ahmad, he didn't play either when he could and had the chance to. I really hope they have a master plan. We must sell as many players as possible first before building and buying. Malacia is humping weights in the gym, Jason. Malacia is trying to be fit. We should have at least Malacia on pre-season tour, hopefully. Adam, I understand that Ineos is not supposed to tell Ten Hag how to coach and set up the team, but I believe they will have a heavy influence on how Ten Hag plays because they will not allow that 3-1-6 crap. Then there's no point in having Ten Hag. I get what you're saying as well, Kilu. Giorgio says, we keep changing managers, but crap players remain. Well, we've not changed the manager, and the players are still here. Only this summer, we might see the back of him. So that comment, I'm expecting not to see in my chat often this season because Ten Hag is still here, guys. He survived. So let's see what he's got now. If transfers are going to take as long as the manager decision, we're in for a long old window. Yes, we are. I've already prepared myself for this being a drawn-out transfer saga masterclass. Rashford looks worse when you are at the game versus what you see on TV. On TV, you don't see all the walking and not tracking back, says Jonathan. Yes, you are dead right, Jonathan. Rashford, in person, actually there for real. It's honestly, you only have to ask Jay. Like when we brought Jay down, Jay came and watched the Arsenal game with us, and he was watching United in person, not Marcus Rashford. He was just watching United, and he just turned around and said to me, he said, you were right. And it's like, it is worse in person. Like just watching the players off the ball that you don't see. It absolutely blows your mind. It really does. And it's hard to take in. Like you cannot fathom why they're not moving around the pitch. Why it looks like they've got no idea what they're doing. It's strange. It is a strange thing. Erik Ten Hag won't get rid of any won't get rid of any of those back to each position. Adam, it doesn't work out for Ten Hag. Ineos will blame the fans for supporting him. I don't think they dare blame the fans right now. Ineos are the only ones that are bringing anything positive to the club, apart from an FA Cup win and some of the youth players. And every now and then a player turns up in a big game. Well, I just can't see Ineos telling Erik Ten Hag what team to pick. I can't, and it's ridiculous, Joyce. I'm sure they don't do it at Nice. Okay, the academy all the way to the first team should be playing the same style of football. So Ten Hag has tried to say that is happening. Like, yeah, the academies are all doing it, but the first team didn't do it. Worst thing about Rice is we let him go to Arsenal. Yep, Balvinder, we did. The only way we'll get rid of Antony is to loan him out. He's out of form and seems like he can be disruptive. He is starting to spit his dummy out and kick off a lot recently, isn't he? Like, the end of the season, we've seen some serious bitching going on from our mate Antony, haven't we? So, yeah, I'm all for, like, even if you have to loan Antony out, I'm realistic. I know no one's going to buy him. Get him out of the club and free up a space for someone else. If we have to do what we did with Sancho, it's just the way it's got to be. Let's get him out. He's not good enough. It's not going to work. We're into season 3 now, and nobody's confident in him turning it around. And even Ten Hag won't play him. Like, there probably was a part of Antony being the reason for Jadon Sancho leaving the football club and that whole favouritism side of things. But then he's even fallen further down than Sancho. Antony has under Ten Hag, I mean. The mind boggles how this season actually panned out and what happened with our players. I've got a feeling them toilets at Carrington are going to be spotless until December. That is a private comment from Boxing there. If you know, you know, one of them ones. How about get Jonathan Tah? Ligt, that's from Rajat. Ligt will be handy to keep Shaw company in the treatment room, says Sajin. I was reading through that and I was hoping there was going to be a little gag at the end of it. And there was, thankfully. What else we got? Arsenal should buy Antony and Saka as a Saka replacement. I would have sold him for being in trouble. Antony is still in trouble in Brazil. Look, like, loan Antony out. That's what has to happen. 150 likes, guys. Thank you. Keep them likes piling in, everybody. Let's see what we got. I'm going to go into the poll. Over 500 votes on that, guys. Cheers. Confidence level for the transfer window. Question. Option number 1, Sir Jim will make it happen. Option 2, same old crap as before, as in same players still playing, got away with it. At least 3 players we need will come in. And honestly, I feel like giving up. 12% of you feel like giving up. 17% think Sir Jim will actually make it happen and we get the players that we need, that we've all been wanting. And by that, I mean like the likes of Olise, after getting the other 4 players we need before him. At least 3 players in, he's at 24%. Same old crap as before, 47%. Not much hope in the fan base for Ineos getting this right. I'm very pessimistic, Adam. Cheer up, bud. Mate, we just finished 8th. Ten Hag is the manager going forward with what looks like a structure above him that wants to run the team for him. It looks a bit chaotic and we haven't got any money to spend. And all of the players that were there, that everybody has been saying need to go, are still there. Of course, I need cheering up. Of course, I need to see a little bit more proactivity and a bit more activity in the transfer window before I can even get... Look, I'm saying it as it is now. I'm saying that we don't need Olise. That was the main point of the video. We don't. Let's concentrate on what we do need. I also will give my verdict on the season once I see the players that we've got through the transfer window, who's left. I'll be judging and giving my predictions of Manchester United going forward once the pre-season is over and we start kicking off the Premier League. I want to see how these players react. Even if there's players here that we know shouldn't be here, how they react. Now knowing that they just cannot get rid of a manager anymore just by throwing him under the bus. So, yeah. Let's see how everyone reacts and then I'll start judging. how I want it to be. I just don't see anything massively positive at the moment. I'm really happy that Ineos are actually getting to grip with the finances. I haven't got a problem with this lack of spending thing. I find it weird how a club with 650 million revenue turnover can only spend 50 million in a transfer window, but that does show you how poorly we've been run. If our budget is this, and this is the realistic target, I think we can spend more. I just don't think Sir Jim will do it and put us in more shit. Like, financial fair play figures show that United can spend more. I just don't think we're going to be as trigger happy as we was before with Ineos in charge. And this is probably what's been needed. We need to start reining it in a little bit, and I'm happy with that. It needed to happen. Unfortunately, it's come in a summer when we've got so much to do that we might actually need a little bit more money spending just to get us back up there. But hey, I think it's better this way than it would be without Ineos here doing a little bit. I'll say that. So I'll end that poll now as well. So that one is up. Cheers for voting on that, guys. I expect Man United to go further down the table than 8th place, as the players we bring in will be a lot worse as we have Poundland funds. See, I'm being pessimistic, Ewan. Look at Andrew there. He's gone. So Jim, not backing Ten Hag is beyond me. Player power is still there. I'm not saying that they are not backing Ten Hag. I'm saying that they won't spend the money that really needs spending, which shows that they are really backing Ten Hag. They backed him by keeping him and accepting the flaws of last season and looking at the positives of last season rather than the negatives. That's backing in a way. But I don't see Ineos backing Ten Hag financially. They're not stupid. It's not so much they're not backing Ten Hag. It's, look, what do you want us to do after dealing with the shit that's happened before? We're here to clean this up. So let us get on with our jobs. That's what I see Ineos doing this summer. That's the approach that I see coming from them. And I don't think it's going to change. Don't. Palestra is class, but Erik Ten Hag preferred Antony. Letting Palestra go was a big mistake. Erik Ten Hag can't do these stupid things anymore because of Wilcox. Wilcox having a little chat with Erik Ten Hag about other players and why they're not being played. I suppose you could accept that. There is a chance that it may go beyond, and he might start saying, look, like, we think we should start playing this player. Like, you've got to leave Ten Hag to do what he's got to do. I'm not for any else getting involved in who plays and what players put out on a pitch. But what I want Ineos to do is judge Ten Hag off that. Not tell him what to do, but judge him in leaving him to his own devices. Like, if he doesn't play Palestra, or he wants to sell Palestra, then I want Ineos to ask the question, why are we selling him when he is underperforming? Tell me that, Eric. That's what I want Ineos to do. I don't want Ineos to tell Ten Hag where to play Bruno Fernandes or Marcus Rashford, or play this formation. This might work if we go a bit deeper on this situation. I don't want any of that. That's ridiculous. But they should just be looking at Ten Hag and what he's doing with what he's got and what they give him and say, well, you said when everybody's fit that you should be challenging. And everyone's fit and we give you a few more plays, so why are we not challenging? And why are you not playing this player? Why is he not playing? Why has he not played for 10 games? You know what I mean? That guy hasn't scored or contributed for 6 weeks. Why is he still playing? They're the questions I want Ineos to be asking Ten Hag. And that's the conversation I hope is happening week in, week out. Obviously, it won't if we're winning, which is a good thing. So hopefully Ineos are not talking to Ten Hag much, because that means that we're actually winning games and we're moving up the table. But when things go wrong, I just don't think anyone questioned Ten Hag. There was no one of any authority because there was no structure above him. So when it was going wrong, he just carried on doing everything that he was doing in the first place. And then when all of a sudden a structure turns up, things start going wrong, pressure starts being mounted on Ten Hag with speculation. Then we start seeing him trying new things. Do you know what I mean? When someone else is there looking down on you, you start looking at it and going, well, they're paying more attention right now. I need to up my game. And things change. So I think that's what you've got to look at. Hopefully is going to be the way it's going to be for Ten Hag going forward. Don't know why a club of Manchester United's stature isn't run like a big club. We have to ask if Real Madrid or Bayern or even PSG finished 8th and only won a domestic cup, would they keep their manager? No, they wouldn't, is the answer to that. But also, you have to pay attention to the not having the right option to bring in at the same time. And you know what? Better the devil you know in your first season, maybe, for Ineos. Maybe that's the shout in all of this and where they're actually going with it. And you know what? When you look at it, and you look at all the managers that were actually being spoken to, would they have convinced, would they have scared any other team in the league? Would these players at Manchester United have listened to these players, to this manager? Like Marco Silva, really? Come on, you're scraping the barrel. There's 4 managers, 5 managers, 6 managers on that list that even I wouldn't have chose ahead of Ten Hag. It's ridiculous. And now we're hearing that Roberto De Zerbi turned down Manchester United for Marseille. Shut up. Shut up. It's a step up from Brighton for Roberto De Zerbi, but you don't turn down Manchester United. I don't think that even happened. Amrabat for 20 million is a bargain. Have to take advantage of that, in my opinion, as a squad player. A squad player, someone who's not going to play that much, probably boxing, taking out what's that, like over a third of our transfer budget for a player we've already got. Oh, that hits hard, that, doesn't it? Like actually knowing that like nearly half of your budget is gone on a player you already have. Oh, God help us. God help us. Something happen, please. Oh, God. Amrabat is an interesting one right now with the money and everything. I can actually see why there's been no decision on Amrabat. If this really is how Ineos are looking at United's finances, and they've looked at everything, what they can spend, what they think they should spend to keep United running properly, then it's no surprise that there's been no decision on Amrabat just yet. That's all I'll say with that one. But yeah, guys, please give the video a like. That is us all finished. Absolute pleasure to have you all in the chat again tonight. Really enjoyed that video. Getting into detail on everything that's going on with Olise, the transfer market, the spend that we've got, what the team is going to look like going into the new season, and pretty much when we should be judging Ten Hag's team and what we expect from Manchester United when them players are actually in. But get rid of the shit first, then start bringing players in is what we're saying. Mods, thank you again. All new members, super chats, everyone involved, thank you. Absolute legends, a lot of you. Make sure that you do give the video a like on the way out. Make sure you're hitting that subscribe button if you are tuning in for the first time. I love you all. Have a fantastic evening, and I'll see you all tomorrow. And the Euro starts tomorrow. I will let you all know. Stay tuned tomorrow what I'm doing with the Euros. It's all go. Trust me. Anyway, speak to you later, everyone.